There you go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Danger Close, and welcome to Inferno. My co-host, Big Ant, he had to step away for a second. And we are back taking a break from the... Oh, there he is. Taking a break from the...
Hello, everyone.
We are taking a break from gaming. For the last 3 nights, we've been doing some Ring of Elysium. And we'll get back to gaming probably tomorrow night, maybe. Well, tomorrow night's open mic. We'll see. We'll play it by ear right now. But we haven't had Big, hasn't been on the show since Area 51, so I wanted to cover that before we get into tonight's subject. Tonight's subject, we are covering the Majestic 12, Operation Majestic 12 group. And we'll get into that shortly. But good to have you back on, Big.
Thank you. What's going on?
It's good on. Yeah, the Area 51 trip actually did a number on our body.
Big time. Big time.
So it took a little while for us to recoup from that and get all that footage back. But we went out there. You know, I did a stream when I got back on our trip to Area 51, at least my version of it. And I actually, when Big came back on, I wanted to ask him, you know, what impression did you get from the place, at least where we covered?
Where we're at?
Yeah.
It's 100% tourist spot. That's 100% show where we went to, dude. For sure. It's just a facade for people to go over there, dude. You can tell right away, you know.
Are you talking about the little eight?
All of it.
All of it.
The whole thing that we're going over there. It's just a straight tourist trap. I mean, like I said, we knew we're not going to get to Area 51, and most people, like I said, us when they know that the actual Area 51 is not there anymore. You know.
Yeah. When I went, at least, you know, if you step away from the little alien and you're up on the border and of the base and all that kind of stuff, you can sense the secrecy in it. At least that's my takeaway. But if you go to, like, you know, the Alien Research Center and the little alien, their businesses and their catering to especially the little alien is out in the middle of just nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, literally.
I mean, all you see out there is cattle ranchers and that's it, and security guards for the base. You know,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey, Todd Bartlett, how's it going, dude? Welcome.
So,
Darian's father. Hey, how's it going? Darian's father. That's the cop watcher guy.
Oh yeah.
What's going on, dude? We're gonna hit. That's Saturday. I hope you're gonna be there with your son, dude. I think it's gonna be cool. High Judge Community Watch will be down there, and he's a nice guy, dude.
Oh, wait, what is that for Cop Watch on Saturday?
Yeah, he's got like 60,000 subs from High Judge Community Watch. He's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
And he's a stoner, so he'll be staying at my house.
So, yeah, that was our thing with Area 51. We couldn't get any good footage at night because just snowstorm just blew right in. And that was crazy. And, what you call that? Well, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning when we stepped outside, didn't we? Yeah, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning when we stepped outside, and the night was just crystal clear.
Oh, I guess it was, huh?
Yeah, because we packed up and left around 4 or 5 o'clock. Yeah. But like I said before, if you guys ever have a chance to go out there, go out there. It's worth it. I think it was worth it. But anyway, we're continuing our UFO government cover up type investigation, and we're gonna go before Area 51. In fact, we're going way back before Area 51, before Roswell. President Eisenhower established Majestic 12. It was established it was established by special classified presidential order on the 24th of September 1947 at the recommendations of Secretary of Defense James B. Forster and Dr. You might remember this name of Vannevar Bush, and I believe that's George Bush Sr.'s father. I'm not our uncle, but he's part of the Bush. He's actually part of the Bush family. I know that. Yeah, he was a physicist actually, and he was chairman of the Joint Research and Development Board. Operations are carried out under a top secret research and development board. Let's see, intelligence group directly responsible only to the President of the United States. The goal of the Majestic 12 group are as follows. See, I managed literally like 20 minutes ago before I jumped on stream. I managed to find more documents towards this particular group. Now, in the UFOlogy community, this particular group it splits the community in two. Half of the community believes these are real documents, and the other half don't. After listening to lectures, on both sides, they really make a compelling case. But on the people who don't believe it, it's their case that they're not true is kind of, they nitpick certain words in the document and say, oh no, a general wouldn't call him, from the Navy wouldn't call himself a general. There's a fine line to that. You talking about the way people address themselves in the military now compared to back in 1947. It's a little different. It's a little hazy, and especially the fact when you're working with civilians, you kind of keep it simple for them to interpret, to communicate with you. So I managed to find this handbook, and it's literally all these documents on Majestic 12. It's a manual for people who are serving under this particular group, and it is called, let me get to the main page. It's called SOM 1-01, the Majestic 12 Group Special Operations Manual, Extraterrestrial Entities and Technology Recovery and Disposable. And it says top secret, Majestic eyes only. And when you see that top secret, Majestic is their clearance. Like everybody says, you only can go up as top secret. Well, no, there's sub top secrets. Like there's top secret, and then there's the code name behind it. So, yes, you may have top secret, but if you don't have the code name behind your clearance, yeah, you can't have access. Like I have top secret clearance, and I think so. I have it for another 5 years. So, but I can't just go and open any top secret document without certain clearance, But the Majestic 12 group was built of literally 12 high-ranking officials, from scientists, engineers, and high-ranking generals from the military. And their job was to analyze, recover, and pretty much research extraterrestrials, whether it be sightings, crashes, and recovery of, you know, taking care of, say, the alien autopsies and all that kind of stuff. That was their thing. So back in 1947, there was, from what I understand, President Eisenhower had a UFO encounter, and he kind of lost it. He became paranoid that there would be a threat to the United States, so he started the Majestic 12 group just to counteract. And he wasn't the first president to have that encounter. All the way back to George Washington, from what I've read, there's documentation records stating that they've had similar encounters. I kind of go into detail on the encounter itself because it's hard to find his story, but the well-known ones are Eisenhower and President Reagan. In fact, President Reagan actually addressed an extraterrestrial threat in one of his speeches. I don't know if have you heard that speech, Big?
Which one?
The Ronald Reagan speech where he says we should.
Oh yeah, we should have. It'd be so much easier if we had like an extraterrestrial or some other force coming to our system that we can unite or something, right?
Yeah, it was talking about how fast the world would unite to defend the planet from extraterrestrial threat. Those are the only lines I know from the speech. But he goes on. And now the Majestic 12 group doesn't exist anymore. They lost funding over the years through government-wise. But just like a lot of this stuff, especially pertaining to like Area 51, where you see the private contractors, the Majestic project actually turned into Project Aquarius, and is funded by private corporations. Let's see. But also when the Majestic program kind of evolved, it went from Majestic 12 to Project Grudge, and it had several sub committees. So a lot of this type of research is very much it's pretty much the compartmentalized. There you go. I finally said it. Compartmentalized. It's a compartmentalized type deal. So say, just like how I mentioned with Bob Lazar, where he was in charge of working on the engine. That's all he worked on. Everything that was pertaining to it, everything that was to deal with it, that's all he could work on. So yeah, so what they do is they have a whole bunch of scientists. They separate them. They're not allowed to talk to each other. They're only given a piece or a certain section of something to work on. They write down their findings. They do their job. They send it up the chain. It goes to the group of 12. They put it all together, and they see it as a whole. That's how you keep it all top secret. That's how you keep it all need to know. That's how you keep it from leaking out. Now, when somebody like Bob Lazar or John Lear or many people from high-ranking government agencies who left their jobs, who have come forward and say, yeah, the U.S. government has UFOs, the Russians have UFOs, hell, the Nazis had UFOs. Those particular people, you know, they weren't just, you know, weirdos wandering off the street. No, you know, there were people. Yeah, there were people who worked way up there in the commands. You know, you got ex-generals. You got, I think so. It was Project. Let's see, Project. What was that? Oh God, Project Disclosure, who was started by Stephen Greer.
He's a good guy. He's one of the top guys on there. I know for a fact that I watched all his stuff. Stephen Greer, his Disclosure, his what's another one? Sirius. That's a great documentary.
Yes, Sirius. I did see Sirius. It is a very good documentary. Am I too loud? Oh, sorry about that. Am I too loud?
A little bit.
Oh, okay. So, sorry. My son woke up. I guess I was too loud. I really want to do my mic like how I had at the hotel, where it was plugged into the microphone so I can hear myself talk. It's easier for me to control the volume of my voice. But anyway, I seen the serious one. That is a very good documentary. The new Bob Lazar documentary just came out too. Also,
You should go to the Hangouts and then actually click on the icon that actually has me, because I'm talking on the other one, so it's gonna be just me, the Big Antsy TV. So if you click on that one, it'll just stay on that. It'll just stay on me.
okay.
On the picture one.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but just click on the picture. And you have to showcase somebody, so that way you don't even see the bottom people.
There you go. Oh shit! I did it wrong.
You just literally just click on it, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, remember how I was telling you my computer? I turn it off, so I got 2 monitors to do the podcast. So I got to go slowly because I'm looking through it at a small screen.
Right, I get that.
Yeah. But yeah, Stephen Greer is a great. What's up, Cheeseburger? What's up, Twisted? So.
And sorry about that, dude. That's, like I said, life is a beach. I hate to say that, but dude, it literally kicks you in the teeth, physically and literally me, dude. So I get that, man. Preston knows.
Oh yeah. What does that mean? What's up, Cheeseburger Eddie?
Cheeseburger Eddie.
Anyway, so yeah, Stephen Greer, he was one of the people. He used to brief presidents from Obama down to Reagan. And he like we were saying before, he wasn't no schmo walking off the streets. He kind of fell into this. He was actually a ER surgeon, a trauma surgeon at a prominent job. And somebody approached him from the CIA and the reason they approached him is his family. His family, yeah, he had connections. His family was part of the CIA, and his family was big into government.
Well, like I said, he had experience as a youngster with aliens abduction or something like that too.
Yeah,
that's like the big one. They came out eventually said that, telling people that's why.
Yeah. Now his beef with the whole situation.
Bodyguards, dude. The people literally try to threaten his lives and all this stuff.
Yeah, I seen that.
Just to me, it could only be government that would do that. Because why would someone else say this? Or it could be maybe the people that are abducted try not to, don't tell people about what's going on and shit. There's so much shit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the top ones for aliens or advanced technology or something too. He knows quite a bit about that stuff. And like I said, if you've seen the serious thing, he's actually one of the few people that's actually been to I think he's been down in the back and seen some stuff, but also, like I said, he's been part of, if there was true, the dissection or what do you call it, autopsy of it.
Autopsy. Yeah. Now
he's a doctor, so he knows what's up too.
Yeah. Now Stephen Greer, his whole thing with Project Disclosure and his whole gripe is actually similar to Bob Lazar's. His thing is, okay, we have this technology that can make the world a better place. You can do away with fossil fuels and use this. And
for a long time.
Yes, for a long time, and we can fix our planet and get rid of the carbons and all that kind of stuff. And why aren't we releasing it? And since the fact is the government has control of these projects, but they don't have much to fund black projects, especially like this. They rely on, okay, yeah, you pay your taxes, yeah, and they say, okay, I'm gonna vote for a road tax, where they charge you more for, like in California, they charge you an arm and leg for gas, but yet you don't see where that money goes. Yeah, the people involved, and I'm not saying it should just the president. No, it goes from senators to all the way down the line. They take some of that money, fractions of that money, and they stick it into these black projects. And what they get out of it is the know. They get to know. They get to know the truth. And it's costing, the taxpayers trillions of dollars each year that you'll never see. When they can turn around, use this technology, and make the world a better place, and still make that money to fund their research. It's not hard, But see, you have seen this technology. You see it in your cell phone. Yeah, we discussed this a while back, where we made leaps and bounds in cell phone technology. We went from
talking about that too, also about actually putting tinfoil hats when we go to Area 51. Not the tinfoil hats, put something over our heads in case.
Yeah.
We actually did talk about that, so
Oh yeah, when we were at Area 51. That would have been funny.
I talked about it, dude. Because
no, I remember you talking about it.
I believe it.
That would have been funny if this.
You know about energy weapons and stuff. Like they have the little sonar ones that you pretty much disorient you and all that shit, so you can't think or anything. So I believe they have that shit for sure.
So, yeah. Yeah, I actually remember you talking about that, and that would have been funny if we all jumped out of the truck with tinfoil hats on, and freaking the camera would have been shining us.
Do that, and I actually got comp 3 days too, so we can go back again.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I should book pretty soon. I should call him. I'm done for New Year. I'm done for New Year's, but I can't. It's too soon. I'm tired.
I do not want to go back up there during the winter.
No, we're for camping. We're definitely going out there.
Yeah, spring.
April or something.
Spring. But so, yeah, we have seen this technology before. They have. If you're investing in these black projects, you got to get something in return. You've seen it with cell phones. You've seen it with I wouldn't say GPS, because GPS has been around for a long time, but what is it? Fiber optics.
Fiber optics, yeah.
Fiber optics is a big deal. I mean, fiber optics was said to be extraterrestrial from the get-go. It's communication via light, and fiber optics is slowly creeping its way up to the mainstream. There's a lot of fiber optic stuff in cars, and communication between the 130 computers that's operating in your car. The internet is moving over to fiber optics. I think so. Google Wire is laying down fiber optics to make your internet in the blink of an eye, pretty much.
Yeah, well, they have those pretty much what's called like a gigabyte
a second or something.
Modem now too. You can get, so it's like I don't know if it's fiber optic or not, but I'm gonna actually get that because the modem I have is pretty fast, but it's not like a. What's that? Is it like a? I guess it is fiber optic, but the faster,
Yeah, faster communication.
Drive by, dude. What up, dude?
So this is a kind of, and this is what the Majestic 12 group was. How this is all because of them. Now I kind of give you the only people I could give you names that was part of this group is the Dr. Bush, President Eisenhower, and that's pretty much the two well-known ones. Now, as the group got older and started, I actually, to be honest with you, I read someplace that even Albert Einstein was part of the. Where is my notes? I took a note. Even Albert Einstein was a part of this group, and he was replaced by, oh God, where is it? Okay, Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer was one of them. Dr. Bush Veniver, and Albert Einstein. Now, Albert Einstein was part of this group, and he was replaced by Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Right.
Yeah, and
you know what that is? Behold, I have become death.
Yes, didn't he work in the Manhattan Project with Dr. Bush?
I wouldn't put it past it.
I think he did. I know Dr. Bush was a big figure in the creation of the nuclear bomb. fast forward to when the nuclear bomb was turned into like an ICBM. You hear about the Majestic 12 again, because there used to be a lot of UFO sightings when we used to test. There's actually tons of video and tons of stories from Minutemen. And if you don't know who are Minutemen, those are the guys who actually sat there behind that counter 24/7 with a key, waiting for that phone to go off, and the president on the other line saying, "Send it."
Saying something, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much send it. Send that nuclear bomb. Now, I've watched interviews of these Minutemen who said, "Oh yeah, we're out into Kentucky. We were testing, ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles." They would, pull them out of the silos and practice a launch when an unidentified flying object would fly over, and literally they would lose control of 23 missiles. The things would just shut down. Now, this isn't just coming from the United States too. Russia in the same time, I would say that, in the same era, when they were testing their nuclear bombs, they would have the same problem. And that is actually what turned, it up the UFO phenomenon from just I would like to say from a side project to a threat. Because if these things could shut down 23 ICBMs like nothing, how would we defend ourselves? Right. Now there is a by.
Well, that's also a conspiracy we go into too, is that a lot of the things like why we don't have nuclear war and all this stuff is because the aliens are actually going by them, disabling the warheads. Like their laser, they shoot some kind of thing to disable them.
Yes, there was actually footage. There was a guy who was filming. Where was it? This was in California. They were testing an ICBM rocket. They didn't have a nuclear payload, but they were testing the rocket itself. They fired the rocket and it got to top speed, and a UFO flew by, hit the nose cone of it with a laser and blew it up. Now, the cameraman himself didn't see it happen. To them, it just looked like a crash. But when they took the film, had it developed, and sent it to the powers that be so they could go and analyze it, he was called into the main general's office and said, what'd you guys do? And the guy was like, we didn't do nothing. And it shows a flying saucer actually shooting down an ICBM test. There's a large part of the UFO community that believes that there's a lot to lose if the Earth destroys itself, which we're doing a damn good job of it.
I think we've done it many times. That's why
yes.
Indian or Native American cultures that we're on the fourth age, the fourth world. It's like the hobbits, Lord of the Rings almost.
Mm-hmm. This is just one intergalactical science project here. We have there's no theories yet to why people think that, but people think that they keep us. They don't want us to destroy ourselves. They want us to keep advancing in how we are. That's why they see these nukes. They let us have them. But when it comes time to use them, they stop us from using them. Now, with North Korea testing nuclear bombs, I don't know how that goes. They're slacking on their job. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's there's a lot to it.
Right. My computer froze.
But are you looking good on my end?
Okay.
Oh wait, move your head.
It's froze.
Oh yeah, it is froze.
It'll come back. like I said, I think this needs to update this laptop.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be like I have so much stuff going on that I think I need to upgrade my modem, dude. I'm pretty sure it is.
So I actually have a short video. It's from the History Channel, and it's about the discovery of this manual. Now, this manual, I didn't watch the whole video because we were just about to start stream, and I wanted to find this particular manual for tonight's stream because the Domestic 12 program, there is only 20 pages of this document that was released to the public through the Freedom of Information Act. There is actually 90 pages to this document that just never showed up. So that's the thing is and a lot of this document is redacted.
A lot of it's always redacted.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
Sharpie marker it out, dude.
So
on both sides, that way they can't bleed through and you can read it.
Yeah, right. So let me play this quick. It's like a 4-minute video, and then we'll go over this book. What is manual?
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Ancient astronaut theorist Giorgio Tsoukalos is at the home of Linda Moulton Howe. After examining all of the material related to the Majestic 12, she believes that the most compelling documents are those that surfaced in Maryland in 1994.
This, to me, this is the best document that's been leaked. It's called Restricted Psalm 101, Majestic 12 Group. And all of us, when we first saw that title, Extraterrestrial Entities in Technology, Recovery and Disposal, one of the first things that everybody wanted to do was find out, okay, did they use this stamp in 1954 from the War Office? Turns out that they did all the way up into the 60s. And one of the more important pieces, I think, is as you go through here, they found in a government printing office, take a look at this. This is from a blow-up where they were doing a test. And look at this unauthorized, and look at what happens to that Z. It raises slightly.
Right.
So Bob went to the government printing office and found a guy named McCarter who was printing in the GPO in Washington, D.C. in 1954. And he took one look at this text and he said, this was done on a monotype. I used it. And the Z would collect dust, and that's why the Z's would print rays.
So different steps have been taken to authenticate this document.
Yes.
The fellow I spoke to, he fortunately had been a long, long time employee of the public printer and had actually worked on the kind of presses that he thought were appropriate for this document. He said, based on the printing, I'd say it clearly was printed on one of the presses in this building or in this basement of the Pentagon in 1954, which is what it says.
And then when you start getting into what is in this book, you have the illustrations and sketches of 4 different categories of different craft, UFOs. And on this page, here are the discs. Here is a long cigar shape, which is described in this document as being up to 1,000 feet in diameter. And then this one, the ice cream cone, and this, the triangle. And there is a paragraph in here that implies that we are dealing with collaboration, that there must be some agreement between the United States and the extraterrestrials.
Really?
There is on this page 17, it's under chapter 5, and it goes into encounters initiated by the extraterrestrial biological entities. Possible contact may take place as a result of overtures by the entities themselves. In these instances, it is anticipated that encounters will take place at military installations or other obscure locations selected by mutual agreement. This
By
is
mutual? Wow.
1954.
According to the Majestic 12 documents, the men who made up this group and were in communication with
Let's
beings
count us
from
a third
other
kind.
worlds
Yep.
included top scientists, government officials, and high-ranking military personnel.
In 1954, President Eisenhower supposedly met
Cheers,
with
y'all.
extraterrestrials in Palm Springs at Edwards Air Force Base, otherwise known as Muroc. And there's a lot of whistleblower testimony about his presence at this meeting. He was just as probably alarmed or shocked as anybody, you know, realizing the larger picture. But with all the whistleblower testimony about these different encounters, I pretty much side on the fact that he did make contact.
Dude. So that was a quick statement by the Majestic. Quick rundown on this particular document. Thank you. And let's see. All right. I'm gonna actually show you. I actually found the PDF of this particular document. I actually know, which I'll show you right now. All right. So this is some-01. If you guys want to read it in more detail, you just go on Google and type in SOM1-01 PDF, and you can actually download it. So I have no clue what this means. Maybe that's kind of like a library card by the looks of it, or you know.
Yeah, it could be like I said, the Book of Secrets, where you know this book has to be checked out and timed and all that. That people, you know, if it gets leaked out, this person was the last person logged in that did it, then it might be him or something, you know.
Yeah.
Or encoded as a you know, as a false flag. You know, the people's names just aren't there. They're just, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Hey, what was President Eisenhower's full name? Was it Theodore?
Which one?
President Dwight Eisenhower? Yeah, that was Dwight Eisenhower in that photo. Oh, okay. So Dwight E. Eisenhower. Okay, I was just
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
I just was trying to figure out these, because if you notice on the back, I mean on this particular card, it says page 32 to 40, removal. Oh, so they did remove. Okay, removal documents replaced, and then it has initials. You see EWL, and then JTL. Those are initials. EWL, GRT. There is actually a list of the original founding members of the Majestic group. I'm actually gonna write. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, the 3 names I have so far doesn't. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna actually look into this off stream. Let me look at these initials and see if I can match it up to a face. GRT. Okay.
I was streaming too at the same time. That's funny.
What was that?
Your nephew, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Fortnite.
So I'm actually, I know what page she's talking about with the Z. Let's see if we can find that scope. 24th September. So some of the key things of the Majestic Group is the recovery of scientific study of all materials and devices of a foreign or extraterrestrial manufacturer that may become available. Such materials and devices will be recovered by any and all means. By all means deemed necessary by the group. The recovery of scientific study of all entities and remains of entities of terrestrial origin, which may become available through independent actions by those entities or by misfortune or military action. The establishment and admission of special teams to accomplish the above. Operations. The establishments and administration of special special secure facilities located at at secret locations within the continental borders of the United States for the receiving, processing, analyzation, and scientific study of any and all materials, entities classified as being of extraterrestrial origin by the group of a special teams. This is that line right there. This is where you step into Area 51, Skunk Works, Edwards Air Force Base, the Cube, which is a new Lockheed Martin special facility, DARPA, who is also next to Edwards Air Force Base out here in California. You know, Lockheed Martin's right up the road. I don't think I haven't. Let's see, Boeing is part of that group, I believe. Give me one second. Boeing also has a facility out here and in Washington. McDonnell Douglas. Boeing Aerospace. Yeah, Boeing has. These are these top secret facilities where they do these research. After going through so much documents and so much videos of this particular program, you got to remember it all ties together. This is just one big thing. You know, let's see. Roswell was just the beginning. Roswell was we weren't supposed to know about Roswell, period. Somebody messed up by coming forward and saying, oh, you know, went to the newspaper, say, oh yeah, we got a flying saucer. But with that word saying, oh yeah, we recovered a flying saucer, they started an avalanche of curiosity that they could not bring back. And when they came back the next day and said, oh no, sorry, I effed up, it wasn't a flying saucer, it was a weather balloon. How the hell do you mix up a flying saucer with a weather balloon? You know?
They have the similar circular shape, maybe?
Yes, but not in a crashed aircraft.
Oh, all weather balloons have engines and folded metal and stuff. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, weather balloons don't have engines, though.
I know.
Oh, you're being sarcastic. I thought you were being serious. I was trying to be serious. I couldn't pick up the sarcasm.
All they have is fucking flame.
Yeah.
Literally fucking exhaust and shit with the powers up.
Not even, dude. They don't. Yeah, that's it. It's just a pretty much a giant party balloon. You know, and yeah, you know, I see weather balloons all the time. They look exactly like fucking UFOs. No, I don't think so. How do you got to be somebody special to mix that up, let alone being, you know, high up in the military ranks that they put you on camera and said, okay, yeah, tell them it's a, you know, it just don't add up.
Right.
And it just don't add up. But let me get back to this document. Let's see. Situation is concerned fear indicates that objects. Okay. Current situation. It is considered, as far as the current situation is considered, they use considered a lot, that there are few incidents that these objects and their builders pose a direct threat to the security of the United States. Despite the uncertainty as to their ultimate motives in coming here. I like how they say that, in coming here. Certainly the technology poses by these beings far suppresses anything known to modern science. Yet these presence have seemed to began. Did I say that right? Huh. And they've seemed to be avoiding contact with other species, at least for the present. Several dead entities have been recovered along with a substantial amount of wreckage. How much you want to bet they're talking about Area 51? I'm not Area 51. How much you want to bet they're talking about Roswell? There are two separate incidents that I can tell you from my research into this, that Roswell was the first. Now,
Mexico had one.
Yes.
Had one. See, what's another one? The United Kingdom. Everyone's had their Roswell, dude. It's pretty. That's why it's like this. That's why they talk about disclosure. You know, they suppress so much information and shit. You know, the news. Like I said, there's actually things up there. If you go to the news, that every single person is reading the same script for the same story. You know, oh, what about if Santa was doing this? And them saying, oh, what about if Santa was doing? It's the same story for every going across multiple, streams or news things.
Right.
It's all scripted and shit. So, they don't want people to know about, Roswell is not the only place where aliens crashed or, something happened.
Right.
They just want people to think that's, if they do that, only one incident happened and we get, attributed to, weather balloon.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the other stuff.
So, the Roswell.
Our government has, like I said, has a world government that monitors UFOs and all. They secret. They're 100% secret.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a military that actually specializes just for stuff like that, extraterrestrial or whatever. But I don't know. I guess you could say occult or spiritual, anything. Same like Hitler did. He has like a division for shit like that. That no one on our side of knowledge we have.
Yeah. So Roswell, we all know. We all know. We've all heard. There was an alien crash. They supposedly recovered bodies, but there's a particular thing that happened not even a month later. Also, it happened in Arizona towards the Mexican border. In late 1949, alien aircraft crashed in the United States. The alien aircraft was recovered partially intact by the military. One alien survived the crash. The surviving alien was male and called itself EBE. Now we see EBE throughout this document and throughout many other documents. This particular story that I read comes from a totally different black project. Anyway, let's see. It was learned the alien came from a planet in the Zeta Rachel star system. I know I said that thing wrong. About 40 light years from Earth. Okay, I'm going to stop right there for a second. This particular star system, it comes up a lot too in past documents.
What's it called?
It's a ZETA space RITICULI star system.
Okay, yeah, Zeta something.
Zeta, yeah. Now it said it's 40 light years away from the Earth. Bob Lazar actually mentions this particular star system, saying that's where the alien spacecraft that he was working on came from. Let's see.
That's another thing. Like I said, this is true. Like I said, there is a space station, like the Interstellar, that's by Saturn, orbiting it, like the Death Star. Pretty much, they're saying almost.
Mm-hmm. One of the moons.
The space station is the moon is actually the Death Star. The big theory is.
Huh.
It's a crazy one. The Star Wars is almost like a documentary.
I definitely got to look into that. So
that's a big one. Watch, you'll trip out on that one too. I didn't know so much. I don't know how I know all this shit, dude. Remember all this shit.
So this particular extraterrestrial survived. It lived until June 18th, 1952, when it died of an unexplained illness. He provided valuable information regarding space technology, origins of the universe and exobiological matters. Okay. Now, back to what the lady said in, well, this particular document, when it says first, when we establish contact, we're working with other people, we're working with extraterrestrials. They're gifting us this technology. They're saying, here, take this, learn what you need to learn, but they're still keeping their distance.
There's mantras to make sure we don't. Well, to me, I think they actually, as long as we don't leave the atmosphere, if it's street aliens or whatever, and if we kill each other, it doesn't matter, as long as there's a planet still left over.
Yeah.
If the human, like I said, if we actually kill each other off the race, and it actually means for other races to come in, if this is true, like I said. And depending on the people you talk to and the experts, like I said, there's multiple races, like 8 to 12 or whatever races, alien races besides us. What? If you want to actually go really, real deep into it, they actually say animals are aliens. All the different things are different forms of aliens.
Well,
forms of aliens.
If you want to go back to it, we know our origins from what other people have told us. Other human people have told us. We can go say, okay, the Bible tells us we came from Adam and Eve. God created us. If you want to go into a religious term.
Our evolution.
Evolution. Yeah, our evolution. Exactly.
Which is 100% not religious.
Yeah, right. It's a scientific version of it. Okay. But then if you look at human beings around the world, everybody looks different. Everybody is unique. And then if you go into races, we have different skin colors. We have different, eyes. Everything is different. You could actually honestly, you can actually say maybe we're a mixture of extraterrestrial beings from all over. We could be just one giant science experiment. Let's go off the rails here for a second. Okay, let's think of this. Okay, what if these beings went to certain lower life forms from other planets, gathered up, 1, 2, like Noah's Ark, 2 of each, and tossed it on this planet? We could be just like Australia. Back in the day, Australia used to be a prison continent for Britain. That's how Australia was found. We could be like that, but in a planetary sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
We could be one giant science experiment. Maybe that's the stake they have. Let's take these life forms, these lower life forms, toss them on a planet, and see what happens. We're the Truman Show, but in a global, in a galactic. I think so.
Did you watch that South Park episode?
Yes, actually, that's I wasn't thinking about it when I said it, but yes, that actually popped into mind. I was like,
It's probably true too.
It is, it could be. We cannot, you cannot really check that off the list, because we don't know. Will we ever know? No. Maybe. We're too, we as a race are too stupid to know.
Yeah, we're limited. That's why. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If there is, a higher being, then he created us to only use.
Oh wow! No, you're fine.
He created us to use only at max 20% of our brain. Whether that happened or we evolved, how come we only evolved to use 20% of our brain capacity or something like that? With people say that no, we do use 100% of our brain capacity, the theories and all that. But
yeah, if from what science says, if we used 100% of our brain, we would be a whole nother superior. Yeah, we'll be a superior.
Yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, like I said, you wouldn't need voice communication. You wouldn't need sight. You wouldn't need anything because you live
right.
That whatever 25th dimension. I don't know.
And there has been alien abductees that have mentioned that when they were abducted, these particular beings communicated not vocally but mentally.
But
You
so like the voice to them. Yeah, so like, or what do you say, a spoken language or English or whatever.
right, it was all mentally.
Well, there's another one. I think this one I'm not sure if I think I might remember hearing about it, but the thing is there is no aliens that are actually our government in costumes abducting people and doing stuff that way they don't have a government experiment on humans in the guise of aliens that are doing this shit. So that way they people are being terrified to death and seeing people in costumes experimenting and doing shit to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've heard that too, that the government,
that's what they say, the Greys are actually machines or they're people in costumes.
Yeah.
They're not, everyone, most of the consensus about the Greys is that they're androids, synthetic, they're the slaves or the whatever, the workers or the whatever.
There is so much rounds, so much worlds of possibility of what they could be and what they couldn't be, and the government is just doing this to scare people or do this, do that.
It could not be a day. It could be our imagination running wild,
Yeah. But
it'd be kind of hard to think that this whole universe and galaxies are just us and this little tiny dot.
Yeah, I get.
I don't believe whatever. There's definitely something higher going on, but I don't think it's this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
We're too limited to comprehend it,
We are as a species. We can't.
We just don't know. We think they know and they talk about it, and it's taken as word because they're the expert on it, but there's no way, like I said, Big Bang or whatever, all this shit. To me, that's just bullshit that someone that's smarter people are agreeing with,
Well, we as a species, we think, as of right now, we think we think two-dimensionally.
Right.
Once we start thinking in the third dimension, the fourth dimension, everything will.
You can think it, like I said. Just if you're thinking it too, then who knows that it's not actually really happening? It's not perceiving it.
Yeah. That could. That definitely could be the case.
Well, except if we are in the Matrix or whatever, then what is, like I said, what is real? It talks about it. It's pretty much electrical signals in our brain. So who knows what? I gotta keep reciting that shit. I don't get it.
So it's hard to comprehend, and if we go down that road, we're gonna veer way off.
Big time.
Yes, but
I think it's crazy. Like I said, if you go into one thing, a lot of these conspiracies and talk about it somehow link a lot of it to each other or something else, but somehow they're always formed together or something.
Yeah, everything's intertwined. You just got to find the connection to it. If you go through a lot of these documents that surface and come to light, you notice that. You notice that, okay, you see, Majestic 12 on a totally different, separate document.
First, not good, but
you see, evidence that come to light, and it mentions a phrase or a program or a team that connects it to something else, a document from 20 years later. Here we are. It's been 40. It's been like 35 years since Bob Lazar came forward. 1989. He came forward and blew the whistle on Area 51, and we still talk about it today. And yet, everything,
man, dude. Sure, dude. All
Yeah, all the oh yeah, most definitely. All the things that he said that people were like, yeah, you're freaking crazy. Yeah, that never happened. They're happening. You know,
Too much information now. That's why they said, you know, because Al Gore created the internet, that everyone knows it, you know.
well, yeah.
Al Gore created the internet.
I don't want to. Oh no, we're not going down that road. We'll stick. No, we're gonna stick to this subject, and we'll get into Bob Gore later. Al Gore later. Man, bear, pig.
That's a great joke.
You know.
They don't give a fuck. I was thinking about that too. They should start a podcast, but they don't give a fuck, and they've actually, they pissed off the fucking elite and shit. They care from this stuff. The South Park, whatever. Those guys. They're literally, they put it up there too. It's almost like a TMZ in cartoon form, almost. They put the mainstream just change the, narratives and characters and all that stuff, but sometimes they don't. Literally, it's just straight out, the person.
So, that is actually one of the things I really wanted to get into in this particular document that I noticed is description of extra terrestrial biological entities. They actually go down into detail, and if you guys were actually reading it while we were talking, according to this is the EBEs. This is one of them, and the way it describes it's the grays. I'm not gonna go into full. I'm not gonna read the whole thing out, but you see the eyes are small, wide set, almost almond shaped, with brownish black, eyes. So. And then if you come down, there's actually type 2, which is a totally different. This is 3 to 5 feet tall. They're a lot smaller, especially in weight, 25 to 50 pounds. Where the first one was between, where was it?
Slave race, that's I believe, right? That's what
80 to 100 pounds. So this is as far as I got.
Pretty sure, like I said, you read a lot of stuff into it. I think they most of the consensus, I'll put my hand quotations in there, is professionals that the grays are the slave races to the other races.
Yeah. Usually the less superior of a race usually tends to fall to that. Look at the Romans. I mean, the Romans was the high. They were the superior race, the superior culture of the known world, and they took slaves from Greek. Yeah, anywhere they conquered, they thought it was in their right. Alexander did the same. Alexander the Great did the same. Everyone through history have done that.
They say it, but we are too.
Oh yeah.
Same thing.
So I'm just gonna read the.
That's more refined.
I'm gonna read this first sentence of this particular section 11, description of extraterrestrial technology. The following information is from preliminary analyst reports of wreckage collected from crash sites of extraterrestrial crafts in 1947, Roswell, and 1953. 1953, which is, I gotta go back to my notes to find that date. Okay, no, that wasn't it. In 1953, particular crash. So,
think about that. Wow.
What is that?
Mom was born in 53.
Was she?
Yep.
Okay, so here's that particular paragraph where she was talking about the Z. And it's under the press blackout. Where is it? I do not see it. Am I looking in the right spot? There's one right there. This might be a retype. It looks like it's from a legit document. Hmm. This thing goes into great detail how to press blackout, moving, cleaning the area. Let's see what else is there on this thing. I didn't really go through the full. Oh, I did not see that. Do you see that? Check it out. Yeah, okay. Is it too small?
It is, but
Yeah, okay, so
I can kind of read it a little bit.
so it says extraterrestrial technology classifications table. So it actually, this part, I think, so I can't read it sideways. I wish I could, can I flip it? No, I can't. I wish I could spin it so you could see it. Maybe, let me see. Let me see.
Yeah, you can.
Rotate view.
Yeah,
Boom.
there you can.
Okay, so aircraft, intact, optional, or semi-intact aircraft of extraterrestrial design and manufacturer. UA-002, that's the Majestic 12 code. Now, this is the interesting part. This document supposedly was manufactured back during Eisenhower period, back in the 1947s, 40s, well, you know, back in 1947, 1950. I'm not sure. Now, if you look on the upper right, it says receiving facility, Area 51 S4. Who in the UFO community has ever mentioned S4? Who was the first person who mentioned S4 and Area 51? We go back to Bob Lazar.
Well, the other thing too is they have memos and stuff created back in the 40s. Like they actually had to create something because shit was going on back in the 40s. So they actually thought about shit before that. So it's probably before even the 40s that stuff was going. I'm sure it's through history for sure. If you look at all the stuff and all that we've been visited by something, which is hard to explain. If this true, different cultures have, you know, supposedly visits and all that. That's hard to explain that stuff. That through the ages that there's been aliens, but it's not during the Roswell that aliens started happening. You know, that's just during the modern technology that it's documented and shit that everybody knows about it.
Jeez. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 categories in this particular page that is supposed to, if they find it, goes to Area 51 and S4, which technically S4 is south of Area 51 on Papoose Lake. It's still in the Area 51 borders, but it's a separate entity from Area 51 itself. There's layers of security, layers of need to know.
Right.
So let's see.
And like I said, not everybody knows everything. That's why they get caught. I only know this. I only know this part. I want to know this. You know, they won't know everything. Some people do. Like I said, Lazar he don't know everything either. He just exposes some of the stuff he knows.
Yeah, the things he knew. So I'll actually go down this list of what is supposed to go to Area 51 and what is supposed to go someplace else. So if you go number 1, aircraft, intact, operational, or semi-intact aircraft of extraterrestrial design and manufacturer, goes to Area 51 S4. Intact device, any mechanical or electrical device or which appears to be undamaged and functional, Area 51 S4. Damaged devices, any mechanical or electrical device or mechanical which appear to be damaged but mostly complete, Area 51 S4. Power plant, this is the category that Bob Lazar fell under. Power plant, device and machines or fragments which are possible propulsion units, fuel and assisted control devices and panels, Area 51 S4. That was Bob Lazar's job there, was to monitor, to reverse engineer, to try and duplicate, to to figure out how it worked. Was the power plant. Let's see. Identified fragments composed of elements or materials easily recognized as unknown to current science and technology, i.e. aluminum, magnesium, plastic, etc. Area 51, S4. Unidentified fragments. Fragments composed of elements or materials not known to current science and technology and which exhibit unusual or extraordinary characteristics. Area 51, S4. This is another job description that Bob Lazar had to work with. Why? Because element 115 back in 1989 was non-existent, but Bob Lazar said it existed. That's what they used to power the propulsion of these engines. Everybody thought he was crazy. The scientific community, the scientific community said there's no such thing as element 115. It never exists. It will never exist. Period. Fast forward to 2003. 2 scientists discovered element 115. The problem with they still called Bob Lazar crazy. Why? Because element 115 was very unstable. They would create it. It would last seconds before it deteriorated. Bob Lazar came back saying, well, you need a special isotope to keep it stable. The scientists turn around and goes, holy shit, that's a good idea. Now, I don't know exactly when it happened, but element 115 was added to the periodic table. So, suck it, haters. Let's see, supplies and provisions. Non-mechanical or non-electric materials of a support nature, such as clothing, personal belongings, organic, ingestible, OTCs. I guess they're talking about food and stuff like that. It goes to Blue Lab W4-61. Where is that? Can you look that up?
What's it called?
Blue Lab space WP-61. Is that what? Let's see. Number 8, living entities, living non-human. Yeah, Blue Lab. Yeah.
Blue Lab.
Let's see. Blue Lab WP-61.
That's not good.
Oh, it came up what?
Google came up with it.
Yeah. So that means there's a lot of information out on there.
Anybody ever noticed this about the security manual? Alright, above top secret has this before, okay. Here, I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Ooh. Above top secret is actually a really good source for this type of information. Okay. I'll bring that up in just a second. Okay, here's another one. Number 8, living entities, living non-human organized. Oh, God, why is it so hard for me to say these words? Organisms in apparently good or reasonable health. OPNAC BBS-1. I have no idea what that means. That is an acronym for some sort of base. It's OPNAC BBS-1.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
If you type that in, it'll probably be one of the things.
I would not doubt it. Okay. Not OPN.
Oh, WP says it's Wright Patterson. That's probably Wright Patterson Air Force Base, huh? Right?
Where's
probably, that's what I'm saying. Area 51 S4 seems easy enough.
Isn't Wright Patterson in New Mexico? I believe it is. Wright Patterson is yeah.
Wright Field.
Huh.
That's called bright field. They changed it. It says.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, living entities go to this particular place. I will look that up. And non-living entities, which is funny, is because that's where they said the bodies went from Area 51 was to Wright-Patterson. Deceased non-human organisms let's see, remains and other suspect organic materials. Media, wow. Number 10, printed matter, electric records, maps, charts, photographs, and film go to building 21 KB88. And last but not least, the main thing is number 11 is weapons. Any device of potential of a device through to be of offensive or defensive weaponry. Area 51 S4. Oh wow, there's a nice little.
There's so much. There's the link down. There's all kinds.
Living entities may be contained in total isolation pending arrival of OPNAC personnel.
Right back. Yeah, water.
Wow.
I'll be back, dude.
Yeah, no problem. And then I guess in this manner it shows like there's a list of. See, this definitely looks like a military document because they would, if you see right here, and if Twisted is watching, they actually give you in a military document, like say I go to the range, or I make a range card. A range card is pretty much when you're sitting on a spot for a while, you make a range card, so you pre-designate your distance of potential targets. Like say if I see a car off in the distance, I could say, oh okay, I range it at 1,000 meters. I'll put that on the range card. Boom. Any place where a person can hide, range card. They actually give you a pre-printed one in a manual that actually helps you jot it down. So this particular booklet actually gives you a sample of what you need to. Okay, so this is how you catalog what you find at a crash site or anything like that. There's actually two different ones. Document shipment. Yeah, see, document shipment, so you can properly catalog a craft site. And I guess the rest probably just goes into that. How to encounters with isolation and custody. Wow, this thing goes through non-living organisms. Ugh. I actually want to read it. Okay. Let's take a look at what Big sent. When replying to Majestic 12 documents. I guess there ain't that much. On page 30, see, it doesn't show that much. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. I kind of want to look up. Where the hell is it? Bear with me, chat, please. Let's see. There's one particular. Okay, we're almost there. Somebody must have figured out the location of this place. OPNAC. OPNAC. BBS. Bingo. I didn't even have to complete that one. Operations manual, special operations manual. Who is this for this? No. I'm trying to figure out where this place is at. I've been looking at that one particular one. Here's a PDF.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. Nope, that ain't it. I'm trying to figure out. I hope this isn't the same thing. It is. Okay, I was just trying to figure out what the OPNAC BBS-1 was. If it was like anybody figured out what location it was at. So I recommend actually reading this particular document. I will put it in chat. What it is, just Google it and make sure you put PDF to see it. That way, it's downloadable PDF. It's actually very, very interesting. Let's see, 1/1. So that is the document we just went through, the manual for the Majestic 12, published way back in the 40s, and it pertains to extraterrestrial life. The way the government is supposed to handle the situation, I guess. Did you shut down your camera?
No, I froze again.
Oh, it froze again? Oh, okay.
I want to get next to mode, like I said, to hook up all this shit I have here.
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi I have too much shit connected to Wi-Fi that I can't have the laptop on it.
Yeah, see, what I do for my stream setup is my streaming PC is hardwired, and my gaming PC isn't. So that's the way I got it set up.
It needs to be wired, both of them.
Yeah.
I just have too much shit connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It slows it down big time. But yeah, so that particular manual, I just literally found that 20 minutes before the stream started. Not even 20 minutes, 10. And that was me for the first time with you guys. And I really am going to dig in deeper into that particular book and research some of the locations. We already know about Area 51. We already know about S4. We've covered it a lot. Bob Lazar worked for S4.
Thanks for the description.
Oh, is that on Twitch?
It looks like Extreme Elements. So it's got to be from what's it called? I'll check it right now.
So that is, in what is it, the last 3 months I've been researching Area 51, and I was so slowly just keyed on Area 51. But the more I dug, it's spread off. From Roswell, there's so much out there, and it all converses on this particular place, S4. It's south. North of Area 51. It's 14 miles from the from the landing strip. the runway, the main base of Area 51. It's interesting on it's crazy. It's just crazy, and I could see how this place could be the center of it, because it is surrounded by mountains, and it is. Let's see if I can put up for you guys who have never seen a satellite footage. So here, let me close this real quick. Okay.
Oh, the thing's covered in it. I didn't see that.
I can find this place with my eyes closed. It's so you can see it zoomed out so far away if you know where to look.
Right.
All right, so this is Area 51 right here. Oh, you know what? I'm showing you guys this and I don't have it. There you go. So this is Area 51 right here. This is where they test the SR-71. This is where they, invented the SR-71. They invented the U-2. They fly the new Raptors. This is tops. They do, the stealth bomber here. They did all of this here. We know this. This is what many people have told us. Skunk Works. This is one part of it. This thing probably has nothing. The people who work here, the people who operate this, probably have no idea what is south of here. So if you follow the road south, where is it? There. Okay, sorry. So this is Papoose Lake. This is where Bob Lazar said S4 was at. Now the hard part is finding it. He said there was 9 hangar doors that was built into the side of the mountain, and it was textured to look like, the desert. There was Robert Lear, I think his name correctly. He has a record that will blow your mind. He has every pilot license out there. His family invented the Learjet, and he is known as the godfather of conspiracy theories. He said he's seen satellite images where you can actually see the doors. Now I'm pretty sure I do too. This guy has a record that will blow your mind. He passed away not too long ago.
A telescope that can see the Big Bang Theory, supposedly, then we could see, doors.
Yeah, and
Hubble Space Telescope is not one. I'm sure there are a few, and they're not all pointing to space. Some are
the key to finding this place is follow the roads, because they got to get their employees there. And according to Bob Lazar, it was 14 miles out south of Area 51 on Papoose Lake, which is this is another dry lake bed. And as you can see, even from Area 51, this mountain range actually blocks Area 51, and then this mountain range blocks everybody else. So this actually would be a good place to hide another government facility, underground government facility. But like I said, the key is to follow the road, because the road will, he said he was flown into Area 51 through Janet Airways, which is, if you guys watch the documentaries, it's the airplane that flies people in from Vegas, the workers in from Vegas, their commute to Area 51. He was taken off the plane and put on a bus with blacked out windows and brought to this particular area. And he said roughly 14 miles. And they said when they got off the bus, you could barely see, you barely notice it at first sight, but once you get close to it, you would see 9 hangar doors that was textured to look like the side of the mountain. And it was built at a sloping angle.
I would say they have things. I was going to say that. I think they have air that you had to find to the mountain to get to them, like secret, secret dots. Which I'll tell you about. We should do that next.
What is that?
The deep underground military bases and
yes. Now it was Robert Greer, Stephen Greer, who said in one of his lectures that anything that the government doesn't want you to know, any equipment of importance extraterrestrial wise or anything like that, it will be placed underground in an underground base. Anything of value in such will be underground, because that's the one true secret place you can keep it.
Usually one way in most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. So I guess you got to follow the roads. That's the only way you really can find this facility.
Follow the roads, follow the money.
Yeah, and I've been trying to follow the money, and following the money that's where it led me to them siphoning off money from HUD and other programs that you think is governmentally funded. They siphon money off of there, pretty much launder money off of them, and they put it in a black bank account and use that money. Your tax-paying dollars are paying for it, because they siphon off, like I said, school funds, road, restoration. Whenever they hike up whenever you vote for something to put money in, I guarantee you some of that money is coming here. It's being siphoned off for black projects.
Well, even charities do that.
Yeah, exactly. No,
putting you out there, but like Susan G. Coleman, Red Cross, all those people. Like, how rich those people are, the CEOs and all those companies.
Yes, very much so.
Like I said, there is no money in a cure, so why would they give Susan B. Coleman or whatever, give up millions of dollars to cure breast cancer? They won't get the money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they got to pay for operations, this, that, and all that, but like I said, look into it, and like it's literally percentage that's going out to actual research.
I haven't
going to fund operations mostly.
I haven't looked.
Pay the people.
I haven't looked at this satellite map since we got back.
You see any fracking operations?
Here's the gate that we were at. Remember this one? Yeah.
Little pads of like maybe 1 or 2 oil rigs. You'll see tons of them all over the place, man.
Remember that road where that security guard was chasing us? He turned off. There it is, right there.
You had that video, right?
Yeah, no, your friend does. Where you're chasing us?
He has his video from his GoPro. You should have the other one.
No, I don't have the other one. I was live streaming at the time, and Elliot turned off his camera to live stream, and we didn't get none of it.
Yeah, the copy that was on the HD camera is gone. It's not on my computer.
Really? Yeah, no, it's not on my computer. When he was following us.
It should be on the thing they gave you, the card. Either it copied or it gets sent to the card, one or the other, because it's not on my laptop. I'll go through.
I have the card right here. I'll go through it again and find it. We have some good video. Yeah. Of security actually they followed us for a good 2 miles. It's not the first one. It's the second time we were at a different gate, the black gate.
And we followed them too.
Yeah, and then we turned around and followed them. And he followed us to that one particular road, and then he disappeared out of sight. And by the looks of what I'm looking at the satellite map, there is actually several different roads. There's actually a bunch of roads we could have went down, and it would have circled us back around.
Like I said, they know all the little side roads and little ditches to hide in. They know everything. That's why I said it's 100% facade, dude.
Yeah. Even when we left in the morning, we ran into camel dudes on the main road. Remember that?
That was a mixture of leaving, I think.
Yeah. Early in the morning, we were driving down 375 extraterrestrial highway, and I was looking up at the stars, and actually one of the Ford Raptors, aka Camel dudes, actually passed us. He was going super slow too. Yeah, but you have to on that road because cows free graze on that road. Yeah. And one lady who worked at the Little Alien said she lost her truck. She was coming down that road and slammed it into a cow.
I believe that for sure.
Oh yeah, after watching seeing all that herd moving around, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, so that was actually what we went over tonight was actually a brief rundown on the Majestic 12 program. There are other black op operations that I'm looking into, paranormal wise, of extraterrestrial, but in the end it actually all boils down to Area 51. I'm looking at other secret bases. There, Edwards Air Force Base just north of it. I would like to take a drive out there, in the near future, and look at DARPA has a research facility out there called the Cube, and it is said that that's where they manufacture some of the stuff that they release from S4 out in Area 51, and they take it down there and they engineer it for new age weaponry and spy stuff. There's a YouTube channel called Alien Seekers who actually went out there and actually caught some good footage of new age drones that they were testing out there. Skunkworks has a facility in Burbank that also has, from what UFOologists say, an underground facility. The Skunkworks facility out in Burbank is actually built on the side of a hill. My wife actually showed me it, and I could see how they could drill into the side of the hill and make another facility into the hill.
Simple.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that building. It's right off of the 210. It's a white building, 20 stories high. It looks like a hospital, really, but it actually belongs to Boeing. No, not Boeing. Yeah, Boeing. Yeah, and that's where they built the SR-71 and the U-2. They packed it up in a truck and drove it all the way out to Area 51 for testing. But yes, I could see them building into the side of that mountain. A lot of good resources to look into is Stephen Greer. Excuse me, Stephen Greer, Bob Lazar, the new documentary, just anything with Bob Lazar. If you watch his old stuff and his new stuff, the story never changed. He's taken 5 lie detector tests, and these professional guys who've done work with the FBI and all them says he's not lying. George Knapp, he is a host from Coast to Coast Radio. He was the investigative reporter who broke the story about Bob Lazar. He's another good source. There's a lot of people in this field that were normal, and I hate to use the word normal everyday people, normal lives that just changed in a blink of an eye when Area 51, when Bob Lazar stepped out of the woodwork and said this. Richard Lear, I think James Lear, he's another good source. Some of his information, he was a world-renowned pilot. He had every FAA classification known to man. He holds records as a pilot. He has done a lot in his life. He recently passed away. I don't know. I do not know how recently, but I know he did pass away. His research and and study into ufology, pretty much conspiracy theories. He got the name Godfather of conspiracy theories for a reason. A lot of it is far out, but a lot of it also makes sense. He worked for the CIA. He was a pilot for the CIA. Yeah, most of it does. There's a lot of it that doesn't, and you got to expect that when you go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, is you're gonna get stuff that is way out there. But you still, when you do this type of research, when you do this type of thing like me and Big are doing, you got to look at everything, and then you got to analyze everything, and then you got to look into, you got to study everything. As far-fetched as it sounds, you still got to look into it.
Big time.
And you got to determine, okay, do I want to particularly shed a light on this subject, or do I want to push it aside, save it for later, and tackle the hard-hitting stuff? But you still got to go down that hole, and you still got to stick your toe in, I guess. And so I could see how Lear had that kind of material. I have books and books and books and books on conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And yes, a lot of it, I was like, oh God, that sounds just stupid. And then I read into it, and I have to take a step back, and I'm like, whoa. That makes total wow, and then I dive into it.
Right.
So keep that in mind when you come to the my podcast or any paranormal show or video and stuff like that. Don't eliminate the possibility just by what they throw at you. Listen to it.
And you don't get answers sometimes.
Yeah.
It's probably dig deeper.
Exactly. I recommend taking it at face. Don't take it at face value. I think so. I'm using that term. Don't take it at face value. Listen to the argument, and listen to what they got to tell you, and then, I guarantee you by the end of it, you're gonna be like, wow, I think I should look into this more. And or it will at least pique your interest into, okay, this sounds like total bullshit, but that doesn't. Let me look into that. Because you got to remember, just like Big told you before, everything's intertwined. Everything connects in one sort of way. Tonight's subject, we covered the Majestic 12 program. I had no intention of putting a lot of effort into Area 51. Right. Because we discussed that on my last paranormal podcast. The only thing I wanted to mention is because Big wasn't on, he was recuperating from the trip, is to see what his thoughts were on it. But, a lot of this information that I popped up tonight and I was going over with you, I was going over it for the first time. And it led back to Area 51.
Always related, because it's something government or something religion, more than likely.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you guys are probably Chad, you guys are probably saying to yourself, well, you're talking about aliens, of course Area 51 is going to entwine to it. That's not necessarily true. I've gone over sightings and other stuff. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to bring up in the near future. That's the whole reason I've been gaming. I have to cut down the paranormal podcast to twice a week if I'm lucky, and then I got to fill in that time slot with gaming. But with past the gaming, I'm in between that, I'm doing research. I'm trying to do things like I literally, covering this particular subject has lit a fire, because it's starting to make sense. It's starting to like say have a bearing to it, a direction. Everything's coming together, and it's pointing me in a direction. Like I was watching video on the Majestic project and researching that, and it popped me into another particular subject, the Men in Black. And I'm not talking Will Smith Men in Black. I'm talking about the real Men in Black.
Actual G-men.
Yeah, the actual G-men, which nowadays you hardly hear about because obviously they changed their tactics. But a lot of people don't know. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but Dan Aykroyd. Well, maybe a lot of he's not very secretive about it. Dan Aykroyd is a very, very big pillar in the ufologist community.
Oh yeah.
He was doing a conference with Stephen Greer when he went outside to have a smoke break in New York, and he saw two men exit a car dressed in black suits, the Men in Black. He turned away for a couple minutes, and he turned back, and they were gone. Well, I wouldn't say a couple minutes. He glanced away for a couple seconds, if I'm remembering the story correctly, and he looked up, and they were gone. There's a. You're stuck on this Matrix thing, aren't you?
Well, I actually am a proponent that we are in simulation and shit, dude. I actually think that shit's going on. Like I said, that's why I think we actually do have deja vu and people do have shit like that, because I don't know directly someone's controlling us, but I do think that's why we can't function 100% of our brain, because if we learn the truth that we're actually just imagining all this shit or whatever, or someone's beaming a signal into our minds or something. Then like I said, I'm still on the fence on that. I still think reality is kind of weird.
Well, yeah, reality is weird. You know why? Because we haven't. Reality is weird. Yes, I'm.
Reality really makes sense. You know, we just going by what people are saying, or put in books and shit.
Us going down that direction and trying to figure out is a never-ending thing. It's something you really can't go down.
Remember the lost also, that shit could be true also, you know.
But I will put that down in my subject list to research.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Dulce, what's it called? The Dulce base in Dulce, New Mexico, and what is it, San Onofre? Not San Onofre. What's the one out there? Los Alamos, huh?
Yeah, Los Alamos Research Lab.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And also, like the guy that mainly talks about that one.
Yeah.
What was his name? Rob Schneider.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
No. When you say Rob Schneider, yeah, Rob Schneider's the actor.
No, it's Roy Schneider, something like that.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be a lot on the UFO phenomena and top secret black projects that we have to cover. And like I said, it takes a lot of research into this, and it consumes a lot of time. And you know, to my viewers who come to watch me do the paranormal podcast, I'm sorry, I'm not, you know, I had to slow down. Is because I really want to give you guys really good content. And I'm gonna try to keep pumping these things out, you know, in particular, you know, with subjects like one of the gaming buddies of mine. He's ex-military. He goes under the tag name Father Coffee. He's part of a paranormal research group here in California, and I kind of want to touch bases with him and see if he could take me on a ghost hunt. And hopefully, big, you're in town when that happens, we can go out there and do that, and try to get some footage of the paranormal, you know, stuff like that, of ghost hunts and stuff like that, because I still want to do one of those. I really want to cover that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the extraterrestrial subject that we're covering, it's a mile long. And and I'm slowly chipping away at it and trying to pass the information, because a lot of this information fell through the cracks of time and people's interests. You know, a lot of this stuff dates back to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, you know, and then it goes cold. There is a website that I found. It's called the National, let's see, it's a new website. Okay, it's called the National UFO Reporting Center, and you can Google it, and it actually has a monthly list of UFO sightings, and it's broken down into categories of state and date. So if you guys are interested in that, I plan on sharing a monthly report on UFO sightings with you guys. This particular website, I guess, so the reporting part of it, people don't go into detail. They usually just give you size, shape, length of encounter, and then whatever the person on the other end is relaying to this site. And usually people leave it anonymous. Now, when it comes to UFO research, it's actually this is actually coming from the government. They're saying 80% of UFO sightings are false. They're hoaxes, but it's, what is it, 90% of UFO sightings are hoax and hoaxes, and they're not true. But 10% falls into that category of unidentified. 80% can be explained through logic. 10% cannot. So I gotta chip away at that 80% to find that 10% for you guys. And it's interesting. I enjoy doing it. It helps me relieve stress. And it's fun. You know, it's fun. I enjoy that, going to Area 51 and freaking sneaking around in the dark in the middle of a snowstorm, you know. But it does take time. It does take a lot of research. You know, we're new to the game, I guess, as you can call it, you know, at least the public eye. But if we're not paranormal podcasting, we'll definitely be gaming, you know. And that's another thing. For my subs, Rogue XD, she's editor of my channel. You know, since this is a podcast, I'm just going to call her my producer. She's actually getting some emotes up for me. And I'll share those with you guys as soon as I get them. We're bouncing some ideas around, and they're looking pretty good. So, you know, but you know what sucks is I forgot to hit record on this thing. Damn it. I'm streaming, but I'm not recording for my YouTube fans.
Or you don't stream and record at the same time, OBS?
No, I do, but I forgot to hit the record button.
No, if you stream, it should record it also automatically. Go to your file and check it. It's probably there.
Yeah.
At least
Well,
mine does.
if not, I can just pop it up on Twitch and re-record it. It's no big deal. So that is what we're dealing with, you know. But I'm really gonna dig more deep into the UFO phenomena, because I do think we do have crash aircraft. I've done too much research on this to brush it aside, and I do believe that the government is hiding. I know the government. I used to work for these people. I do believe they are hiding something. We just got to figure out where and when. Will we know the truth in our lifetime? Probably not. Probably not. But at least we can put out the information. Put the information out there. Maybe
disclosure is going to happen in our lifetime, though.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Disclosure or whatever.
I'm hoping I get this. I'll be around to see that day. But if not, I hope my son will be able to see that day. My children. I would like to say we have a right to know, and we do. And I remember I was at work, and I was test driving a car, and on the radio, this is a normal, non-paranormal radio station. There was a statistic that was taken. What would happen if a UFO just came right out of the sky and parked itself right over LA, what would happen? I think so. It's Dr. Michio Kaku who mentioned this. Yeah, I think so. This was him. Okay, so this is what his hypothesis was. He said, okay, we would not necessarily panic, but we would be worried, concerned for maybe 24 hours, if anything. After 24 hours, that's just another fixture in the sky. As long as it ain't disrupting our day-to-day lives, we wouldn't care. If an alien was to come down and land, park itself over LA like Independence Day during rush hour traffic of LA, nobody would give a shit. They would stare at it, but then their main priority would be to get home. I know, because I sit in that traffic.
Right.
After 2 days, nobody would care. It'd just be another thing. As long as it doesn't disrupt our everyday lives, we won't care. The government should know this. I don't know why they keep hiding it. Are they worried that we're going to be like, hey, you have all this technology, we want it too?
Probably.
I guess. You know, you don't have to show us everything. Just give us something. Frickin', you know, I would be happy with the president coming out tomorrow and say, yeah, there's life on other planets. We just don't, we know where they're at. We just, you know, yeah, we just don't know how to get there.
Right.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, shit.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm going to say it this way. If we've been communicating, if they've been giving stuff to us, I don't know. I say if, I know. Well, I have a gut feeling down in my stomach that they're really giving selected stuff. They're really conversing with the leaders and talking to them and giving them tidbits to advance our society. You can tell us that. You go, yeah, we have communication with them. You know, it's no big deal. You know, they tell us this and that, and I'll be happy to post it up on Instagram. You know, if you guys really want to know. You know, I could see, you know, I had this thought the other day that kind of made sense. You know, is this out there? I go, and I'm gonna mention it to you guys because I was thinking it for this particular podcast. You know,
like an epiphany kind of or something.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so you know, I kind of give you a percentage on how many people are skeptics in the world that don't believe any of this shit, that we're the center of the universe, that we are it as a higher life form in the universe. We are it, which I think is bullshit.
Number 3.
Yeah, we're number 3. But this is the funny thing on how people are set in their ways is okay, say you took 50% of the planet, the population of the planet, and you put them in a room with an extraterrestrial that proves without a doubt that they're aliens from another world, made believers out of 50% of the world, and you send that 50 people and you send them out to the other 50% of the people, percent of the population, and go tell everybody. Would you think that other 50% would jump on that bandwagon? No, I don't think so. They would still be skeptics.
50% of that 50%. Probably.
Yeah. So I don't know if the government said, okay, we should tell these people. We just got to figure out how to tell these people, how to tell the world that this is happening. This is what's out there. They just haven't come to a conclusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The world leaders all know what's going on. Well, at least the important ones, you know. And I emphasize the important ones. Russia knows. United States knows. Japan knows. You know, all the major players of the UN is probably at the center of all of it.
Probably.
Yeah. There's no, you know, yeah, I didn't know how to put that thought into words. That they probably are. You know, Russia. You know, Russia and the United States with our nuclear capabilities. We have so much UFO sightings here in the United States, and Russia is equal, if not more. And the big part of that is our nuclear weapons. They're interested in them. They want to keep us from killing each other. You use nuclear weapons, it's the end game. We mess up the world forever. They don't want, you know, these beings that come to visit us, they don't want that. Why, I don't know. But I've heard so many experts in this particular field in ufology argue that case, because there's evidence out there of them, you know, sabotaging our missile defense on both sides, on Russia and our sides. As for the rest of the world that have nuclear capabilities, I really haven't heard any stories from them or sightings or encounters from people in that particular, but yet I haven't dug that deep in it. I'm sure if I dig deep into it, I'm pretty sure every country with nuclear capabilities had this same problem.
Yep, for sure.
You know, but I mean, the latest people to actually test who would pose a threat to this planet would be North Korea, and God knows if they're sharing information on this kind of shit to us. You know, I doubt it. You know, so that we'll know when we know, and I will definitely get information out to you guys as fast as I can. But you know, as we can, and we were definitely going to do more field trips to certain places to bring you more paranormal stuff. But what do you got? 2 hours? Cool. Yeah. So we're gonna call it a stream. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all your support. Tune in tomorrow. We will be playing Ring of Elysium for tomorrow's stream, and then I'm probably my schedule for streaming is gonna change a little, but on the gaming side, I'm the schedule I have on the bottom of my Twitch, don't pay attention. That's for the podcast. But I will be gaming more and more often. For the viewers, a lot of my viewers have been coming in watching the gaming, and I'm hoping they come over and stick around for the podcast. They all know I do this paranormal podcast, and they all seem interested to listen to what I have to say about it. So you're gonna see a lot of gaming on the stream. And
I'll go back a little bit too. I'm definitely gonna play some. If it's gonna be anything, it's just gonna be Ring of Elysium. I'm not gonna play anything else. I'll play some stuff. I might upload stuff recordings, but other than that,
yeah, and
really well, we'll see. I don't know. I just love Ring of Elysium more than anything else.
Yeah.
Again, you know,
I'm not gonna put money into gaming. Yeah, I'm done buying games. At least not unless they come out with something really, really good. But I'm pretty much done buying games. I'm gonna stick with what I have for the gaming part of this entertainment stream. Other than that, you know, it's my podcast. I love doing this podcast. You know, I like it when me and Big come in and talk to you guys. You know. We still do it, and freaking I load it up on YouTube, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot. So,
home,
yeah, we're resting at home, and
need some bad rest.
But I'm pretty much set up for on the road streaming. So
yeah, I'm good too. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty much set up for that with the laptop and the Wi-Fi hotspot, which is fucking awesome. So other than that, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you guys all for your support. Thank you for to my subs on Twitch. If you guys please go over to YouTube and hit that sub button at Danger Close space 10-20. And you guys have a wonderful evening. Twisted, are you in Discord? But you the latest.
I'm logging on right now to real to you after I'm stopping my stream also.
Yeah.
So we'll be up there right now.
Okay.
I will all these.
Yeah, no, I'll play for a little bit. You guys have a wonderful evening and good.